Welcome to the Stronger, Fitter, Happier podcast. I'm your host Vin. Today I'm stuck with this one.
Oh, thanks, yeah. And I'm Sadie.
Sadie's on the podcast today, and the reason why she's on the podcast today is because she's supposed to be on the podcast every week, but she only comes in once in a while to help me out with the podcast. But the main reason why she's on today is actually because today's topic is all about fluctuations with weight. And I don't mean fluctuations like minor fluctuations you get from day to day, but I mean when you yo-yo with your weight up and down because you're jumping on a yo-yo diet or you're on a yo-yo regime and you just can't stay stable with your weight. You're gaining weight, you're losing weight, you're in that cycle and rut. And the reason why she's on is because she doesn't fluctuate or probably have daily fluctuations, but you're not someone who's like generally yo-yoed, or ever since I've known you're relatively slim. Don't take that as an insult.
I don't.
Like, as in, I just mean you've been slim most of your life that I've known you, and you haven't really gone up and down with your weight.
No, I think I've gone up and down with my weight, but like you say, it's not. Well, actually, tell a lie. Last year, I went down with my weight quite a lot for the first time ever. But apart from that, I'm quite stable with my weight. Yeah. Apart from the daily fluctuations that you get.
Yeah, well, I'm not someone who's been stable with their weight, as you know. So I've been a very skinny kid most of my life, from 0 to, I guess, 16. I was very, very, very skinny. Then at 16 years old, one of my good friends, Rishan, shout out to Rishan, he introduced me to chicken. And,
that did it.
No, it's not just that. And then I started eating basically like fried chicken. Mm-hmm. I used to eat a lot of junk food. I used to eat out a lot of takeaway shops, and that's what did it. Mm-hmm. That's what started making me gain weight. I actually realised so for lunch, this is what I used to eat every day, when I was at sixth form. For those of you who listen to us in other countries, that is basically like college. Is it college? Upper school? I don't know. Anyway, around the ages between like 16 and 18, I was eating most lunches. It was a large chicken and chips. Chicken from that, like the meat.
Oh yes, like from the kebab store shop.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then I used to get from the chicken shop next door to that. I used to This is from Crystal's for anyone who's local to us.
What, a gooseacre?
Yeah. So I used to get a large chicken and chips from Crystal's, and then down the road from the chicken shop I used to get 10 wings.
And was this what, lunch?
Yeah, this was lunch every day. Most days. At least 3 times a week.
But was that, so you never used to obviously eat like that before that then?
No. So before that, it was mum's home cooking most of the time, or like, school lunches or sandwiches, that sort of thing. Anyway, gained loads of weight, went to university, carried on gaining weight, and then got into fitness, and then lost a lot of weight. But even while I was in fitness, I've been kind of someone who's gone, maybe not to the extreme that I was before, but relatively like gone up and down. So gone lean for holidays, had big rebounds, lean for holidays, get lots of rebounds, and probably this year is probably the most relatively slim or stable I've stayed with weight. Do you agree, in terms of what you've seen of me?
I definitely think so as well. I think me as well though. Like, I feel like I used to be in a place where I would get really lean and lose a lot of weight for a holiday, come back, then eat whatever I wanted, order takeaways, desserts all the time. Then another holiday would come, I'd lose the weight. And actually I actually got into a bad habit of doing that. But this year I feel like, with this year's only just started. I mean, like last year into this year, I've kind of felt more like it's not so much drastic up and down my weight. I'm more kind of stable and happy with where I am. Yeah. But I think for you as well, definitely, I've noticed more that your weight is very stable.
Well, that was the longest introduction ever to a podcast episode. So I'll have to probably put a shorter one at the start of this. But that is basically what this podcast is going to be about. It's just about how you can kind of stop the yo-yoing, and like we're going to share tips on how to come away from that and how we've come away from it, and share our personal experiences and what's helped us break this cycle. So just pause there because my nose is really running. I need to get tissue.
You have a runny nose all year round, really, don't you?
Thanks. I have a low immune system, and it's something that I was born with, genetic, and yeah, it's just something I struggle with, and you've basically put it up on the podcast.
Alright, anyway, back to the podcast, let's go.
So where were we?
I can't remember what you said before we stopped.
No, it's fine. It was that I wanted to ask basically. So you said last year you have like from last year to now you've been more stable with your weight and you've been very kind of controlled with everything. What was the big thing that you did before then? Like, because I've never seen you go up and down with your weight. Like you're saying you have, but
I think to other people you don't always notice it. To other people, I mean, yeah, you wouldn't even know that, okay, she's put on 5 kg or she's lost. Like, so last year, before we went on holiday, I lost 10 kg. So I think that's quite a lot for me.
Yeah, that's a lot, yeah.
I did that in 8 weeks.
What?
And, yeah, 8 weeks. I went down 10 kg.
That's
and I felt, yes, I had abs and stuff, but I wasn't really happy with how I was eating. So I kind of went really drastic with my food. I knew I had a holiday coming up. I kind of cut foods out, really restricted myself, increased my activity loads. So I think that's why the weight came down quite quickly. But then when I got back from holiday, I realised I wasn't quite happy with, one, eating that way. Like it's not sustainable. I can't do that long term. And two, also physically, I wasn't really happy with, like, yes, I lost loads of weight, but areas of my body I wasn't happy with being that slim. So when I got back from holiday, I kind of got into a place where I was more not restricted with my food as much, not over exercise. I was exercising 6 days a week, which, okay, is great for some people, but for me, I can't maintain that. So now I train 4-5 days a week maybe.
So have you gained weight since then?
Yeah, I've gained a little bit of weight from the holiday, but where I am now, my weight's stable since I got back from that holiday to kind of now.
So what would you how would you describe your daily habits? Because a lot of people who'd lose 10 kilos in 8 weeks would tend to put it back all on. And if you've only gained a little bit and now you're still comfortable where you're at, maybe that was too low of a weight that you went to, but now you're happy with where you're at. How have you stayed relatively stable? Like, what have been your routines?
I think what you just said, actually, having a bit more routine with food. So I have like similar breakfasts, similar lunches during the week, so I know roughly how many calories that is. I know roughly with certain snacks, I know, okay, this is how many calories I'm going to be consuming in a day. And also, like, not being too restricted with, like, okay, I can go out for dinners, I can have a takeaway, but just not do it all the time. So rather than saying to myself, I can't have it at all, I'll just say, okay, I might have a takeaway once a week, or I might go out and socialise once a week. Whereas before, we went on holiday, I was saying to Leon, my partner, for those of you who don't know, he would go, should we go out for dinner this week? I'll say no. Should we get a takeaway this week? I say no. And that was purely because...
Yeah, but you were in a mode where you were trying to actively lose weight. Now you're trying to stay stable with your weight. So it's okay when you're trying to lose weight or trying to, like, achieve a goal to be a bit more restrictive and to do it for a short-term period. Like, 8 weeks is not a long time to try and cut weight. And while that might seem extreme to a lot of people, you have to remember, like, Sadie's someone who's knowledgeable in what she was doing. She was doing it in a healthy way.
Yeah.
She was doing it in a way that she was controlled, but it's not like you cannot keep doing that forever.
Oh, definitely not.
So then she's come away from it now and she's built habits and routines and things that work. And the key thing that she said was she's in a good routine. So she's built up like a routine of eating similar foods every day, so her weight stays stable. So think about when you've come from a rebound and you've gained weight. You gain weight and then you tend to go back to old habits and then you go back to being stable. You don't necessarily go, I'm eating loads and then I'm going to eat more and more and more and more, and then you gain loads and loads and loads of weight. When you have a rebound from, like, if you are someone who's yo-yoing with your weight, you go back to old habits, and those old habits cause you to gain weight and then stay stable at your old weight. Because what Sadie's done is lost weight, maybe she's gained a little bit back, to a point where she's happy, but then that new routine and basically the habits that she's formed from before, she's kind of found a new stable. So she's found a calorie amount that will help her maintain weight. She's been stable with her nutrition in terms of eating similar foods each day and then having the odd few higher calorie meals and things like that. But I guess on higher calorie meals, I presume you do some management.
There's still control.
Yeah.
So I won't be like, okay, well, we're going out for dinner tonight, I'll have a big breakfast, big lunch. Like, I'll literally maybe skip breakfast that day just because I know I'm going out in the evening, I'm going to have a higher calorie meal.
Yeah.
Or snacking on the day, rather than having like a high calorie snack, I'll just have fruit because I know, okay, I can still eat in the day, but I'll go out and enjoy myself, but not binge and like just over consume on calories.
And one of the biggest things why people gain loads of weight after dieting period is because you do tend to gain weight back faster after a big diet. It's been proven, but the only way it's been proven, like what people tend to do is increase their calories way too quickly. So you can go up, but you can't go back to your old habits. So when you think, if you lose 10 kilos and you used to be able to maintain weight at 2,000 kilos and you lost 10 kilos, you've slightly reduced your basically metabolism because there's less of you to...
Yeah, so you can't eat the same amount.
Yeah, so your energy requirements are less. So what now, to maintain weight at your new weight, you need to eat a little bit less. So you can't necessarily go back to your old eating habits.
Yeah.
And I say habits, and you definitely can't go back to your old eating calories. So what you can do is bump them up from your dieting period, but then increase them slowly, but then you need to keep the habits that you had during your dieting period. And by habits, I don't mean calories, I don't mean the amount of food you eat, I mean the strategies that you use to lose weight. So this is one of the biggest reasons why I feel people yo-yo, because the strategy that they actually use to lose weight is not one that they can keep up with afterwards.
Exactly, yeah.
Now don't get confused with strategies and amount of food. So when I say strategies, what I mean is things that you did to lose weight. So if you did lots and lots and lots of activity and cardio and things like that to burn calories, and then you stop doing that, that's the way you burnt loads of calories. So then you can't go back to this, you can't eat the same amount and not do the same amount of activity.
Exactly.
So what people need to do, if they're doing it that way through lots of activities, keep up with a certain level of activity.
Yeah.
It might be a little bit less, but you still need to keep up with a certain amount of activity. The other thing you need to do is, if you were, like, let's say you were eating 2 meals a day, or you were eating 4 meals a day, 5 meals a day, whatever it is, but you're eating small amounts or often, or whatever your strategy was, you need to be able to keep up with that.
Yeah.
And if you can't, and you can't manage your calories in that way, even if your calories are higher, then you're going to rebound. And often people find that a bit of an issue. They're like, oh, but I can't keep up with my ways of doing it when I was dieting. And that's because you didn't enjoy it.
Exactly.
If you were being too restrictive, unless you were purposely being restrictive to achieve a goal, like I guess you
exactly.
were,
yeah.
you're not going to do it. I think this is where I went wrong for so many years.
That's what I was going to ask. Where do you think that you went wrong to where you feel like actually works for you now?
Because what I was doing before to lose weight was, one, incorrect. I was just restrictively eating, not managing calories, not understanding energy balance, not understanding that to lose weight you need to eat less calories than you burn. I would just try to eat like salads and like...
And probably, I'm sure, not enjoying the process.
Yeah, and not enjoying the process. So then when it came to losing the weight and then going back to the old ways, I would just eat my old ways, and then like calories would go up and I'd be eating in a surplus and I'd gain weight. And it might not be every day in a surplus, but there would be no control over my nutrition.
Yeah.
No control over the amount I was eating. And what I've done this time is, rather than like, so when I came off this dieting period, and it's the leanest I've probably got to in my life, before being like overweight, but I basically had the mindset of I'm going to be just as regimental and like kind of rigid with the amount, like the way I control my calories. So I upped my calories by, I think it was like 800, 900, because I wanted to gain weight and gain muscle.
Yeah.
So I was eating a lot more food. I was enjoying myself and feeling stronger in the gym and all of that. So it wasn't about restrictive calories, it was about control. So what I was doing was managing the amount of foods I ate the same way I managed while I was on the diet. So when I was trying to lose weight, I was using MyFitnessPal and controlling the amount of calories I did. And when I was trying to gain weight and manage my weight without gaining any body fat, I did the same thing. I controlled my calorie intake, especially strict at the start. I'm a lot more relaxed now, so I might track a few meals here and there and things like that. But again, it's like Sadie said, I was eating similar foods every day because really that's what worked in the dieting period. So even though I was eating a lot more, I would still eat the same breakfast and same lunch. I mean, same lunch, and my dinners would vary. So then I was managing calories a lot better. And then I was just as active as I was while doing my dieting period. So I didn't up my sessions when I was doing the dieting period. I managed it just as much as I did before. I didn't change the volume of training. I didn't necessarily like go crazy with like the amount of exercise I was doing, so I'd hated the process. I did things that I would enjoy in the period that I was trying to lose weight, and then in the gain weight period, it became very easy, or the maintain body fat period, I should say. I did things that I did then because I enjoyed the process a lot more. It was a lot more positive. Whereas before it was a negative experience. Definitely. Losing weight was a very negative thing for me.
And I think it can't be, can it? I feel like when it comes to losing weight and whatever your goal may be, you have to enjoy the process. I feel like, to me, that's number one. Because
if you don't enjoy the process, I'm not saying you're gonna absolutely love it, you're gonna be over the moon about controlling your calories and all these things. Like, I know it doesn't work like that, but as long as you enjoy the process to a certain degree, like it's not an absolute chore and a pain, like you can't wait to stop. If it's that, then what's gonna happen is when you get to the end day, you're just gonna go, fuck it, I'm gonna eat what I want, I'm gonna do what I want, go back to old ways, and that's where the
yo-yoing starts to happen, doesn't it?
Because you go back to old ways and then you literally turn into your old self.
Exactly.
Whereas when you maintain your new habits and slowly increase calories, keep up with the activity levels, do the things like your step count, all these things that people do when they're trying to lose weight, you need to keep up with in the same or similar like way.
And the same with me, even with training and activity. I just reduced my training down a little bit. I reduced my step count down a little bit when I got back from holiday because I couldn't maintain the 6 days every week. So I thought, okay, make it more realistic. Let me train 4 to 5 days a week. That's maintainable for me, more enjoyable, suits me and suits my lifestyle. And same with my steps. I was trying to, before holiday, do over 15k steps a day. Now I just casually get my 10,000 steps in and I'm fine, and that to me is I can maintain that. And that's why it's easier for me to maintain my weight as well.
So that's 2 big things I would definitely say to anyone who feels like they yo-yo all the time up and down from their weights when they're doing things like dieting or like going on these things, is one, don't pick a strategy that is like a crash diet or something that's a super burden in your life. Don't do super restrictive measures, because that's definitely gonna be either you're never gonna get to the goal that you want to do, and then you're gonna crash and burn and just go back to your old ways because you hated the process so much, or you'll get there and then you'll be so glad it's over that you just don't have anything to go by afterwards. So don't do anything super crazy restricted. But then the other thing is, like we said, make it a positive experience. So do something that you enjoy, but do something that's realistic and manageable afterwards, and have a plan after. Often people just have an end date of where they're going to get to.
That's so true.
So I need to get in shape for a holiday, I need to get in shape for this wedding, I need to get in shape for whatever, put insert goal here. And then it becomes, after that, it's like off switch.
And then what now?
And there's an off switch, and you go back to like old ways where you need to think, I've done this, and now I've learned new behaviors, I've got new habits, I need to keep up with these habits. So that's like being active, doing your steps, like trying to go to the gym still. You can't stop doing these things that are helping you be more active and burn more calories, and then managing your intake. So like, this is why I say it's super important for people to become educated on like calories and things like that, because when I say, you have to track calories even afterwards, what I mean is just track calories up until you feel comfortable you can eat like that without measuring.
Because what you said earlier, you said when you were losing a lot of weight, you was using MyFitnessPal like religiously. But then now, you kind of like, would you say that you've built up a good habit so that you kind of know roughly how many calories you eat a day without tracking?
Yeah, like before I'd be that regimental. I'd weigh my scoop of protein when I put it in to get.
I still do that.
Yeah, like as in I still do it most days, but like this morning we were in a quick rush, and I know that a big heap spoon is roughly about 45 grams. So like I know that's how much I need to get a certain amount of protein that I need. So then it just goes in and drank and done. But like. And like I know when I eat a cookie, like when I grab a biscuit out of your mum's cookie biscuit jar, I know.
Monster here, you know.
And it's like literally, I know it's about 50 calories.
Yeah.
And I know that, okay, so I've had 50 calories there, and I've got 2,000 to eat. Like roughly, you can like kind of you mentally know, like you know that, okay, so like this sandwich that I eat every day is always about 500 to 600 calories. Maybe I'm a bit heavy-handed with something one day or not. But then you know that you had 600 there, you've had 600 there, it's 1,200, you've got like 800 calories left for the rest of the, like your last meal if you eat 3 times a day. That's how I kind of do it and judge it. So
I think we're very similar like that in terms of like we kind of stick to roughly the same sort of foods, wing the dinners and stuff like that. But for anyone listening, if you haven't tracked your calories before, then that might not work for you, because you wouldn't really have any idea of what calories are in what foods.
Yeah, and this is why I say to people, like, I know they're like, oh, but this is so tedious, and I know at the start it really is like kind of measuring food and tracking how much you're taking in and things like that, and it sounds like it's disordered eating, and I really don't mean it to sound like that, because it's actually not it. When I say disordered eating, I mean controlling calorie intake is just how humans function. Like, you've got natural hormones in you, like ghrelin, and you've got leptin and things like this that actually help you manage your hunger levels. And they're naturally there to help you manage, like, when you're full. But these are habits that you need to learn if you've unlearned them. So what I mean by that is, if you're someone who's overweight, like I once was, we don't have the necessary, like, the like kind of function to tell ourselves when to stop eating. Like, I would just eat till I'm full and full and full, and I had to learn that as a behavior. So the way I did it was being really strict, rather than, because I knew I couldn't necessarily control my food intake. I needed the calorie app to control my food intake by telling me how much I should be eating. When I'm obviously dieting, I still crave food, because you're not eating enough food, your body's burning weight off you, and it's telling you, you're losing weight, so you need to eat more to maintain. Once you do come out of that phase because you've lost weight and you are at a stage that you feel happy with, then what will happen is your body, then you start to increase calories and you up them to maintenance. If you can manage your calories at maintenance, and I mean literally manage your calories using the same methods of calorie tracking and things like that, one, you learn the behavior, you learn how much foods are, you get very educated on making guesses of how many calories are, but your body also learns that this is the amount you need to survive. This is the amount you need to maintain your weight, and it becomes like an autonomous, you almost put like a reset on your body, like your hormone levels come back to normal. And I hate talking about this stuff because they don't, like, it's not necessarily that important, like, for you to know, but this is what happens to your body. After you are, like, maintaining your weight for a long time, your body does go through this reset, and you do tend to kind of find like an equilibrium naturally, and it's just about maintaining those behaviors. Like, if you know that, like, eating till you're satisfied rather than eating till you're full, all these behaviors that you learn through a dieting period, and then, like, kind of just immediately after the dieting period, you then can keep up for life. But you never learn those behaviors if you don't do it in the right way.
Exactly.
If you're going on crash diets and just literally restricting yourself from eating, if you're doing these, like, fad meal replacement shakes and shit like that, like, they're never going to teach you anything. No. You never learn anything about nutrition. You never, like, feel empowered by nutrition. And, like, when you learn that it is to manage your weight, you just need to manage your calories and manage the amount you eat, it actually puts a lot of control in you.
Oh, definitely.
Because you don't feel scared of eating. You don't feel like, oh, if I eat this pizza today, I'm gonna be a fatso tomorrow. If you're, like, you've lost loads of weight, you're not gonna feel like that, because you eat a pizza and you just think, okay, that was like 2,000 calories. Maybe because of all the food I ate about 4,000 calories. Tomorrow I just eat a little bit less, or I just go back to normal eating, and I won't gain loads of weight. Like, I might on the scale a little bit because it's water and I've ate a lot of food, so I'm just generally heavier because it's in my bowels. But after that, like, you shit it out and you go about your merry way and you eat like a normal, like a human being, without any guilt, without any remorse. Like, there's no basically, like, ill habits that are formed, but you need to learn these behaviors.
Yeah, and you need to be in control of your nutrition. Like, I think that's really, sometimes people let the nutrition take over. I know I've been there. Like, I feel like all I think about is food. Like, when I was really trying to lose weight and I was being too restrictive, I felt like all I could do is think of food. But
that's because it's a normal function as well. It's a normal reaction. Like, when you are restrictive, not just restrictive, but like when you are controlling, when you're in a calorie deficit, it spikes up your hunger hormone.
So that's why I was literally all the time thinking.
Your body tells you to eat, and the people are like, oh, how do I stop cravings? Well, to a certain degree, just eat more food, eat more voluminous food that is low in calories and things like that, and drink water. But apart from that, like, there's not much you can do. You're always going to crave food.
Yeah, and you have to get used to that as well. Like, just because you're hungry, like, doesn't mean you just have to eat. Like, sometimes I would just literally go and have a drink and I'd be fine. Like,
but
I know that sounds silly.
That's during, I have to be clear here, like, that's during a period where you're trying to actively lose weight. You shouldn't feel like that all the time.
No,
when you're trying to maintain your weight and not yo-yo up and down with your weight, you should, like, eat when you're hungry.
Yeah, exactly. And like you say, eat just till you're satisfied. Like,
yeah.
Like, not until you're literally full. And I think a lot of the time people do. They don't think about when they're eating. They eat and they just overeat.
Yeah.
So, yeah, definitely.
And so, just to, like, kind of summarize, I guess, with this whole thing, like, we've given points, we've given kind of some things that we've done and stuff, but I think the main thing is just about not being too not doing something that you know that you can't keep up with afterwards. So, like, the behaviors, if you can't keep up with them afterwards, you're never ever gonna be, like, able to keep up and maintain your weight.
No, exactly, yeah.
And the other thing is, like, making it a positive experience rather than a negative experience. Like, I'll give you an example of something that happened that I observed recently. Like, there's a boy that when I drop off my daughter to nursery, there's a boy who always gets upset and he's always crying when he's dropped off. And, like, a lot of kids are like that. They don't want to see their parents go. They feel upset and, you know, they don't want to be at nursery. But they calm down, obviously.
Yeah.
But he did that for ages, and then recently what happened was he started high-fiving everyone as he goes in. So he started it with my daughter where he high-fived her and then they hugged and stuff. And then he started doing it with the teachers. And, like, you've seen a massive difference. He's actually excited to come because of the positive experience where he gets to high-five everyone, and he's got, like, a new association with nursery. And I'm not saying that's probably it, but that's probably a part of it. He might have just got used to it, but that might be a part of it now. And what you need to remember when you're doing stuff like trying to lose weight, if you make it a positive experience, you make it a enjoyable thing, you're not gonna, all the things that you're doing to lose weight, you're not gonna hate them. So when it comes to the point where you're happy with where you're at, you don't feel like you want to stop. I don't mean you want to stop losing weight, but you don't want to change the behaviors. You like the behaviors. You think that they're a addition to your life, not a burden to your life.
Exactly.
They don't take away something.
No.
They add to your life. So going for a walk to increase your steps is something that you enjoy. Going to the gym is not something that's a negative experience. It's an enjoyable thing. It's not something that's something you dread. Managing your food and, like, prepping your food and cooking and, you know, like, the whole experience around food doesn't become something that's negative. You enjoy where you're eating. All these things, if you're doing these things and making it a positive experience, it's very unlikely that you're going to go massively up and down with your weight.
Yeah.
You will have times where you gain a bit of weight because you're, I don't know, over the festive period you ate a bit more. And then
that's just normal,
come back to January, you lose a little bit more. But I'm talking about minor fluctuations that you don't actually physically change in the way you look that much.
Yeah,
just like 1 or 2 kilos don't change the way you look that much.
No, but just on the scales you're heavier.
Yeah, but if you're going up and down 10 kilos at a time, like, and if you're happy, that's fine. But if you're unhappy with that, then obviously it's a negative thing. You're doing something that your habits, your behaviors. The recording just cut out as I was talking, and I was just gonna say that it is your behaviors. Like, if you're able to make your behaviors something that are enjoyable, they become then a part of your life, and then you're able to make it a habit.
Yeah.
And then that generally keeps you stable with your weight and enjoying the process of, like, kind of the new weight and the new body and your new you.
And that's what we, I say to a lot of the members that we train. I always say to people, whatever you're trying to do, make it a part of your lifestyle. You don't want it to be something that you do for a short period of time. If you make it a part of your lifestyle, it's just something that will come automatically and you'll just do it every day of your life. So that's what you really want to try and do. Make whatever you're doing just a part of your lifestyle too.
Like minimize the amount of friction that happens with your like, whatever method you use, there should be the least amount of friction that makes it easy for you to succeed, and then that makes that process more enjoyable and more likely for you to succeed. And then the after bit of, like, when you get to a goal, you need to have the same kind of mindset around how do you keep your weight until you feel comfortable enough to keep doing what you're doing.
Yeah.
It's like, it's just forming habits and creating new, like, habits that you actually like and enjoy.
Yeah.
And then you'll end up, like, not going up and down with your weight so much. So hopefully you found that useful. If you have any questions, if you have any feedback for us, please leave them in the comments if you're watching this on YouTube. And if you're listening to this on our podcast platforms or any podcast platforms, then please leave us a review. It really helps us out, helps more people hear this kind of stuff.
And also, if you have any topics you want us to cover next time, let us know.
Yeah, you can reach us at podcast@bodybeyond.co.uk, and we'll be happy to help you with any questions or anything you have that you want to talk about. So, over and out.
See you later.
Bye.